Thank you for tuning into the Faceless Podcast. I go by the name of Shepherd. My friends call me Sheps. Call me whatever you want. As long as it's not Oi, the likelihood is high that I'll respond. Now, we'll just get straight into this. Actually, we're not going to get straight into this. As you know the drill by now, scroll up, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, notifications bell, hit that as well. Mixtape coming out soon. Yeah, you know how important it is to keep on spreading this message. Now, yeah, I don't even want this to take too long. I just thought it would be interesting to react to Jordan Klepper, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who I'm assuming works for The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, which we won't even get started on. You see when people call people sellouts? You see, if you want to look at sellout, okay, but make your money, bro. Make your money. Do you know, should I tell you why Trevor hurts me? Because I used to watch this guy when he was in South Africa, and I used to think, this guy's got it. It's funny. Like, he's funny. And I don't know, maybe if I found him funnier because when I first started watching him, maybe my views were more politically to the left, or if it was the fact that I don't know if it was the fact that because we're neighbours, South Africans, so just to see one of our own doing well, I'm happy. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm just laughing at things I shouldn't be laughing at. Since coming to the Daily Show, my lord, has he capitulated. What I'll never understand is how people who have come from a communist, socialist society and seen it in action and have seen I've seen socialism in action, I've seen communism in action in a form or another in Zimbabwe. Like, I can't support it. So the fact that he is a puppet for the Democratic Party, defending indefensible things, that's a topic for another day. If you want to see me go into Trevor Noah, put that in the comments below. If you don't, then yeah, forget about it. But yeah, let's get into Mr. Klepper, Jordan Klepper. So the context, he's gone to a Trump rally, but he's trying to, because obviously we've got people at Fleckers Talks who would go to a Trump rally, they'll go to a Biden rally, and rally? Jesus Christ, I'm fresh. Let me take some water. I mentioned Zimbabwe too much in one sense. So instead of saying rally, I said Riley. Here's Riley. I wasn't born here, guys. English is my second language. Okay. I'm never going to edit that. Keep that in there. Yeah, so people at Fleckers Talks and Nuance Bro, there's quite a few of them that will go to these rallies and just speak to the people that are there, find out what's going on, ask questions, but not just ask questions in the sense of, why is Trump evil? They'll be like, okay, what do you think? What policies do you disagree with? Okay, you think Trump's evil. Okay, cool. Then they'll ask, why is Trump evil? And then you have a conversation, and then what you tend to find out is a lot of people don't really know why they're there. Like, a lot of people don't really know what they're doing there, especially on the Democratic side. And I know these things are always framed by whoever's got the editing power. So I know I'm not going to be too harsh on the editing on this clip, because Fleckers might do the same thing on his. He might edit out all the really intelligent Democrats, if they exist, who were able to stay with him argument for argument and make him look silly. He might take that out and only put the ones who can't keep up. So I'm not gonna judge him too harshly on that. You've got editing power. It's your video. If you want to look super smart, go for it. But I will touch on it a little bit. So without further ado, let's get into this clip. Let's see when Mr. Klepper tries to do a Fleckers. Let's see how it works out.
On the day Donald Trump most likely contracted COVID at an event in the Rose Garden, he hosted another slightly different kind of super spreader event, a campaign rally. These rallies are a known vector for spreading many of Trump's favorite lies. So I traveled to the battleground state of Pennsylvania to see...
That was kind of smart. I'll give it to you. Yeah, I thought he was going to go with the whole, oh yeah, he's super spreader event, spreading Trump lies. Yeah, it's not really funny. But what do we expect from Daily Show? We'll give it to you.
Pennsylvania, to see just how many people had caught Trump's version of reality. I'm here at a Trump rally in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We are weeks away from the election, months away from finding out who wins, and probably about a year away from losing a loved one to the inevitable civil war. Let's do this.
Yes! Make America great again. Woo! Woo! Woo!
To play devil's advocate a bit here, now I'm going to use the left's arguments against them. You've seen that opening intro montage. Where's the diversity? You're telling me only white people support Trump? Where are the black people? Where are the Hispanics that support Trump? Because I know they exist. Why you're telling me there's no black people that attended this rally? Let me use the left's arguments against them. Where's the diversity in the opening montage?
Rambo flag, classic. How's it going? Mind if I check out some of your stuff?
Yesterday we did $5,400 in sales.
What is selling now? Is there anything 200,000 deaths later that doesn't quite work as well?
Not with the Trump stuff.
It's almost as if the Trump stuff isn't affected by that at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tell me about these shorts.
I almost missed that. So basically, what he's alluding to is because there's been 210 deaths or however many it has been in America, which is a tragedy due to COVID, that's Trump's fault. So he's basically trying to say, since 210,000 people have died and it's Trump's fault, has he been getting less supporters? Have he been getting less money? But instead of being upfront about it, it tries to put it in a smart way, which is a bit cowardly because you could have asked the question, but he's asked that knowing the person's not going to know what he's talking about. We'll continue.
Well, we got the Donald Trump shorts. You know, we got a rep president today.
You got to be careful. Donald Trump that close to your genitals, in a decade he's going to deny he was ever there and countersue.
Pretty funny.
When did you get out here to see Donald Trump?
That was an awkward laugh. Like, I'll laugh because the camera's here. I know I'm trying to be a nice person. I'm trying to think what... Do you think he's talking about Stormy Daniels? Maybe. Like, or he'll forget he was that close in the trial. That's the only one that springs to mind. I don't know if you guys will be able to let me know what he's talking about. Is it Stormy Daniels that he's talking about? The person who signed an NDA for whatever consensual interaction that happened and then went back on that NDA to try and win more money. Is that the person you're talking about? If I'm wrong, let me know. Is that the joke you just tried to crack there? Okay, let's continue.
About 26 hours ago, 10 o'clock yesterday morning.
So you're going to wait 2 days to see the president?
First of all, come on. Donald Trump is our first rock star superhero president. He's the real life Tony Stark. They should call him President Iron Man.
Well, Tony Stark...
Actually, can you... I want you to follow this with me, guys. Can you see a trend in the type of person that Mr. Klepper is going to? If you can, like the video. If you can, just put I can in the comments. Let's see how many people spot the trend of the type of person that, and I'll talk about this after. Let's continue.
Tony Stark gave a shit about science. So much excitement in the air. So many droplets.
Did we miss? Wait,
you feel like people are going to feel this effect.
Let's go back.
He's the real life Tony Stark. They should call him President Iron Man.
Well, Tony Stark gave a shit about science. So much excitement in the air. So many droplets. You feel like people are going to feel this effect for weeks to come.
Again, another bad joke about so many droplets in the air. People are going to feel the effects for weeks to come, basically alluding to the fact that people are going to catch COVID by being at this rally. Was that funny? Okay.
Why no mask?
Frankly, I forgot it in my car.
I forgot to grab it on the way out.
Honestly, it's not even for COVID. I just think all of the Sharpie fumes are not super healthy for you.
Probably not. When it was still wet.
What do you...
You see when people, like, you see that look that geezer just giving him with the Sharpie comment? He just looked at him like, whoa, what are you talking about? Why are you here? As an adult, you left your house to tell me Sharpie fumes.
What do you think about the whole mask situation right now? Are you worried about COVID?
For me, me personally, I'm not worried, but my dad has underlying health conditions.
Okay.
So if he gets it, he's going to be in trouble.
Why come here and take that risk if your dad has health issues?
Just to see Trump.
So it's worth a little bit of risk.
Yeah.
Now, that guy does not really cover himself in the most glory, I must admit. Okay, your dad could have underlying health issues, but there's so many different ways you could have answered that question. You could have said, well, my dad's going away for 2 weeks, so I won't see him. I'll self-quarantine. How? Quarantine? Why am I so fresh? I love it. I want my accent back, but I just don't know what's going on. But yeah, you can self-isolate, sorry. There's loads of things I could have said. Well, I'd wear a mask inside the house. I'm only taking my mask down now to talk to you. There's loads of answers he could have said. But again, you're trying to catch people out. You're not really... This is not journalism. This is looking for I got you moments. This is why with that, even when it's like, oh, so it's worth a little bit of risk. And basically trying to make it look like these Trump followers are just headless chicken that just pray, breathe, eat, sleep Trump, and they'll risk their own families just to come to a rally.
Nice flags, man.
I love them.
Wear a mask.
You.
Back at it.
I don't live under dictators like you, douchebag.
The efficacy of Trump's herd mentality theory was on full display.
That's America right there. That's freedom.
That's freedom?
That's freedom.
Are you excited about the SCOTUS?
Of course I am.
What are you excited about?
It's going to fill the court with constitutional loving Americans again. That court has been too liberal for too long.
Really?
Of course it has.
You're pro-life?
Of course.
But it's important for Americans to do whatever they can to protect a human life.
Yes.
Why aren't you wearing a mask?
I mean, again, it's a personal choice, I think. If everybody was wearing them and everybody said put a mask on, I would respect everybody's wishes and put it on. We're not cheap.
You're not cheap. You're not cheap. But if everybody here was wearing masks...
If everybody was wearing... But, again, we're not sheeple.
You're not sheeple.
We're not.
So you're going to look at what everybody's doing and you're going to follow along.
That's it.
Yeah. But not sheeple.
Not sheeple.
Okay, so why do I have an issue with that? Okay, number one. So basically, he's trying to call him an idiot, saying you're pro-life, so every life matters, but you're out here endangering everyone else, or you're out here risking everyone else's life. The difference is, from the pro-life argument, we're saying that unborn baby's life matters. Let me not say we, like I speak for all our pro-life people. I'm Christian, I'm pro-life. Like, I won't even hide that. However, if you're pro-choice, I won't hate you for it. It's your choice. But I'll be pro-life, and people that know me personally will know that I'll never hide that fact. But we could go. If you want to hear me talk more about that, and I've got my specific reasons why I would never support Planned Parenthood, for example, based on how they started and the reason they started, based on the fact that Margaret Sanger was a known eugenicist who believed in controlling the black population through abortions, which is why you've got more abortion clinics in urban areas in America, for example. But yeah, if you want me to go into that and kind of do a deep, let me know. But yeah, so basically, the reason I don't like that comment, what he's just said, or how he's tried to frame that. Number one, I'm not the most fantastic editor. It goes without saying. For you media people out there, do you believe that little clip we've just watched, the guy with a beard and holding a flag, there was no jump cuts, there was no edits in that? So do you believe that was the flow of the conversation naturally. So he asked the question, then answered. Do you not believe answers were cut into play for a specific reason? Because I don't understand how. Okay, the guy could just not be wise in terms of he could know I'm pro-life but not really understand why he's pro-life. Then my advice to him, go research why. Don't just be blindly following. It doesn't matter what you're following, don't just blindly follow it. But the false equivalency he tries to make between pro-life and COVID. Okay, so number one, with the pro-life argument, what the pro-life people are saying is that child's life matters. Even though they're not born, that child's life matters. We need to protect that child. You can't take someone else's life. You can't take that child's life. With the COVID argument, the government is trying to put restrictions on your movement, on how you behave, on what you can and can't do to potentially protect someone else. Now, the difference is, with the pro-life argument, you're fighting for a child that can't fight for themselves. With the COVID argument, the government is trying to restrict your movement. I would call one positive rights and I'll call another one negative rights. Tim Paul does a fantastic job at explaining what they are. So positive rights is where someone has to actually enact something onto you for them to get a right, or for you to get something, or for them to get something. Sorry, negative rights would be rights that you have if you just get left alone. So what the Constitution set up on the unalienable rights, those would be negative rights, sorry. And I know I've gone off on a tangent a little bit and I've not really done a great job at explaining that, but there's loads of people that do better jobs at explaining it than I do. I just want to try to give some sort of context around it. So if you know you're high risk and you do not want to contract COVID, you can stay in your house. You do not have to come out. You've got the choice to do so. You've got the choice. Do I want to go out? Do I not want to go out? But what people who don't like masks or don't like the lockdowns and everything else, number one, the science doesn't even support lockdowns. Masks, yes, it does reduce the spread, but that's all it does. It just reduces the spread. It doesn't eradicate the spread. But I would wear, like, I've already made a video on this, so I won't even go into any more detail. But then, yeah, so what I don't like is the false equivalency he tries to make between COVID and the pro-life argument. Basically trying to say, oh, so you want to protect lives on this instance when it matters, but then now it's everyone else's life, you don't care. Oh, you're contradicting yourself. You're a sheep. Oh, like, you just believe in things what they tell. It'll be the same. Okay, cool. I can flip the argument back on the left. Oh, so you say Black Lives Matter when a white police officer kills a black person, but then when a black person kills an elderly black gentleman in I forget his name. Please forgive me. What is his name? The guy that got killed for a TV. Is it David Dawn? Yeah, I think it's Mr. Dawn. I think that's what his name is. Because normally it should stick in your head, but since no one reports on this stuff, you just have to remember it. You just have to rely on Crowder and then people there that wanted to actually shine some light on this guy. So yeah, so I could flip the argument and say, well, David Dawn, don't his life matter? Oh, but Black Lives Matter. But when it's a black man that gets killed by a black man, they don't matter. Oh, but you're not sheep. Anyone could do that. It's not really smart.
As the not sheep were bravely running into a tightly packed airplane hangar to see Patient Zero, I couldn't help but think of D-Day and the beaches of Normandy.
Okay, and another reason why I don't like what he's just said there is tightly packed hangar, going to see Patient Zero. He did not know he had COVID at the time. So the people that are there are not coming saying, yes, he's got COVID, but we're going to come anyway. So, again, it's not really funny.
I don't know which side they're on. As I traced the spread of bullshit, I was fearful for those most vulnerable. whose defenses were already compromised.
About 2 months before COVID started, somebody put me on to QAnon.
Great.
And I believe some of it, and I don't believe some of it, but I believe only so much can be a conspiracy. I think a lot of it's true.
You know about QAnon. Is there anything you can tell us that I don't know?
JFK Jr. is still alive.
What?
This guy is always behind Trump at the rallies.
So you're saying JFK Jr. is still alive and spending his time in the background at Trump rally?
From QAnon, yes.
Do you think racism exists in America?
I do not believe that people hate each other as much as...
You don't think racism is a problem?
Okay. I can't defend the QAnon stuff. I can't. I cannot. You think JFK Jr. is still alive? I can't defend it. But, again, this is what... So, please correct me. If I'm wrong, correct me. So, how it looks to me is he effectively, what he's trying to do in your eyes is bring down her IQ. Bring down her IQ. But, and again, because simple things like when he does ask her about racism now, he doesn't let her finish her answer. He's asked her, do you think racism exists? She's, and again, I'll ask the editors out there, do you believe that these answers that we're seeing are the exact same answers to the questions that were asked? Because I don't know about, maybe because I've I've watched a lot of debates, listened to a lot of podcasts. I'm doing the job that I've been in the field that I'm in, so constantly speaking to people. I know about asking open questions. I know the type of responses you get. I know the objection handling, but by no means am I an expert. This is anecdotal for myself. Those questions that were asked, the answers that we're getting back do not seem to be indicative of a common response you'd get. So, if you ask me, does racism exist? Do you believe racism exists? I would have went, yes, I believe racism exists. If you ask me, do you believe racism is still a major problem? No, I don't believe racism is a major problem. But here, maybe it's just me being paranoid, but something seems off about these answers. Let me know if you agree in the comments.
You don't think racism is a problem in America?
I do not think it's a problem now.
There's a potential that JFK Jr. is alive and here at a Trump rally.
Maybe.
Okay, so like I said, so you don't think racism is an issue, but you think JFK is alive. That's just bad. This is just bad. I'm gonna finish it now because I started.
Hilarious. But with just over a month until the voters go to the polls, had the president somehow already contaminated Election Day? If Biden is elected, you trust the results?
No.
They're cheaters.
No.
But if Trump wins, do you trust the results?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think mail-in ballots is not going to be fair because it leads to fraud and stuff.
You don't trust mail-in ballots?
Not at all.
The president uses mail-in ballots.
Okay. The president has an absentee ballot. What's in question in America is not mail-in ballots. No, it's not, sorry, apologies. Let me start again. What's in question in America is not absentee ballots, it's mail-in ballots. So the difference is absentee ballots is a ballot that you request. You say, I cannot make it to the poll to vote in person. Can you send me, Shepherd, one ballot so I can vote? And it needs to be countersigned, I think, by someone. And then you send that back. So they know they've sent you a vote, they're expecting a vote back. Mail-in ballots is basically everyone who's ever registered to vote just gets a ballot. Whether they're dead, they're alive, they still live there, they don't live there. This is how you get things like people to the American people out there. I don't know. Maybe I just heard the wrong news. But I've seen on Tim Carter's show, people saying they've received 6 different ballots for people that haven't lived there in Lord knows how long. Do you see where the potential for fraud can come from? Just fill it in, send it off. And then on top of that, the Democrats are actually trying to take off that verification via signature. So checking the signature on the mail-in ballot towards the signature that's on the system. Why would you want to be taking that security away? I'll leave that to you. But yeah, this guy doesn't really do a good job of answering this. But again, it's because what the left is very good at doing is shifting language. So they've made absentee ballots and mail-in ballots interchangeable. So if you're not versed in what you're talking about, I'm not even an expert in this, but I know enough to be on the lookout for these type of things.
Yeah, they're going to use mail-in ballots for this upcoming election, right?
Right, but the president himself uses mail-in ballots.
Oh, he does? Where?
That's how he votes. He mails it in.
That's different.
How's it different?
I don't know. I honestly didn't know that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But you do know it's different. After hours in the heavily...
Hey, even the music they're playing, like they're playing some country, they're trying to make... You see, if someone wants to say, play hillbilly music, and this is not a disrespect to none of them, it's just a stereotype. If they say play hillbilly music, that's what they're playing. It's... Okay, guys. The background let me down. That I'm going to edit out. If you want to see the background letting me down, get me to 100 subscribers. I'll put it in a Q&A video. I heard it. It was at thunder. I thought, why is it thundering outside? Yeah, it was a shambles. I had to edit it out, guys. But yeah, let's continue anyway. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just take about 15 seconds and then we'll just go from there.
That's how he votes. He mails it in.
That's different.
How's it different?
I don't know. I honestly didn't know that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But you do know it's different. After hours in the heavily contaminated parking lot, I wanted to self-quarantine and chill. But I still had one burning question. Are you in a better place than you were 4 years ago?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is America in a better place than they were 4 years ago?
I believe absolutely.
We have higher unemployment, we have 200,000 people dead due to COVID, and we have riots in the streets.
Yes.
Mate, but this is what's annoying. So you're asking, you asked the guy, are you in a better place than you were 4 years ago? He said yes, he is. Fair play to him. Is America in a better place than it was 4 years ago? Like, if you ask me that question, I'm not going to factor in COVID because you're asking me with regards to what Trump's done. COVID is not Trump's fault. It doesn't matter how much you hate the person, COVID is not Trump's fault. If you look at the records... Wait, do I need to shift one more side to this side? Hey, shift, let's shift. But yeah, if you look at the records and you look at what some of the Democratic senators were saying, some of the governors and the mayors were saying, thanking Trump for his action with regards to COVID, it's not his fault. And you don't even have to love him. You can hate him, but you can't deny what people are saying out their own mouth. You can hate him for... I don't care. Hate Trump. If you want to hate Trump, if that's how you get the power and the strength to make it through the day is through hating Trump, go for it. But you can't deny... You can't rewrite history to suit your addiction to hating Trump. But what he's doing is now... I think this is, not only is it cowardly, it's disingenuous. You know COVID's not Trump's fault. You know when you've asked a question, you've not included COVID. Yes, you could get away with saying, I said, are you better off than you was 4 years ago? COVID has happened within the past 4 years. So, but we know, look at the context. The guy's thinking, you're asking me about Trump, what Trump's done. And let's continue what he's about to say. Saying, we've got riots in the streets. And the riots, if you realise, the majority of the riots have taken place in Democratic-run cities because they have refused Trump's help. And this is what I hate. Should I tell you what actually annoys me? This is what I hate, yeah? This is why I hate things like this. Because you've now forced me to look like I'm this pro-Trump supporter. Like, me just defending the truth, staying consistent with my logic, staying consistent with the facts, you make me look like I would die, like I'll catch a bullet for... I'm not catching no bullet for Trump. But because when I'm looking at it and going, okay, cool, it does look like I hear myself speaking and it sounds like I'm just defending Trump regardless what, like regardless what's going on, regardless of the actual facts, when that's not the case. This is why it annoys me. If you were able to be honest, if you were able to be true to the facts, Trump would not be president. He would not. But the reason, this is what I want you to know. It is the left's fault that Trump's president. If Trump gets re-elected, it is because of the left's fault. The riots that he's just talked about, Mr. Klepper, happening in majority Democratic cities, we're going to see something similar, all going well, that it's a fair election, that happened over here in the UK with constituents, or whatever you call them, towns, provinces, whatever, who had never ever voted Conservative since they got made up, said, you know what, we're tired of this. We might see similar things happening in the US because of things like this. Like, how are you trying to conflate? Like, it doesn't matter how much you don't like the guy. How are you blaming 210 deaths on him? Okay, what about this? Let's flip the conversation now. So, Fauci said if no action was taken, we'd get 2 million deaths. We've got 210,000 deaths. Wouldn't you say 210,000, as tragic and as bad and as each single one of those lives hurts, that we had to lose them? Wouldn't you say that's better than 2 million? So shouldn't you be clapping and going, it could have been a lot worse? You don't. Oh dear. Where's it about to go? Background's about to go again.
Let me just tell you this much. Yes, I'm doing much better. I'm literally making 4 times as much as I was making when Obama was president.
What do you do?
I work for a debt relief company.
Yeah. So now, as a debt relief employee, you make more money under Donald Trump.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to be a white debt relief collector.
Okay, luckily, that was the end of it, guys. We've made it through. My background let me down a few times. Now, let me just wrap up. Cool. I asked you earlier, didn't I? And I said, let's keep an eye on the type of person that he interviews. I won't even call him interviews. He tries to catch out. We'll call it that. He tries to catch him out. Let's see the type of person. We didn't see one person of colour. You're telling me no one in that whole... That would be inaccurate because he got black votes in 2016. So you're telling me that whole Trump rally, considering geezer over there has travelled 26 hours... Well, has been waiting for 26 hours. Sorry, not travelled 26 hours just to see him. You're telling me there's no one on the black side who would have went, yeah, I want to go. And you're telling me he did not run. Now, that's a massive coincidence. Background let me down again. So now I have to film an outro. I hate doing this because it's not smooth. Yeah, now I have to film an outro because the background keeps on falling, but it didn't want smoke with a grey tape because I was using this tape. Wheat tape. Now I got this tape. Yeah, whoever made this tape, the background's staying up. I think we solved it, guys. But yeah, thank you for bearing with me through that. We know the Daily Show is meant to be a comedy/news show, so we can't really, can we? Well, maybe we can hold them to the same standards as what we expect from kind of news channels in terms of that integrity, in terms of that honesty. He could easily turn around to me and go, this wasn't meant to be an accurate reflection. This was just kind of a sketch, for lack of a better term. And I'm just playing on people's lack of knowledge. He could turn around and say that. If that's the case, awful. It's not funny. But it was political in nature, so I thought... It made me cringe. I was watching it and it made me cringe. So I thought, let me deal with this video. If there's anything else that you've seen that you want us to address, feel free to put it in the comments below or DM it to me on Instagram at TheFacelessPod. That's where you can find me on Instagram. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. I go by the name of Shepherd. Wait, I almost forgot. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Watch one of my other videos while you're here. If you think I talk nonsense and I should stop, let me know. I'm not going to stop, but let me know anyway. I go by the name of Shepherd. My friends call me Sheps. It's the Faceless Podcast. Call me whatever you want. Call me whatever you want. As long as it's not I, I'll probably respond. Have a good evening.